welcome to the morning show. I'm Stephanie Coca Aderinoku, and we've got a great show lined up for you on Arise News over the next hour. So sit back, relax, and let's kickstart your day because the morning show begins right now. Today's show is all about bringing Nigeria to the world. In conjunction with our recently concluded Arise Fashion Week, there were a surplus of other events elevating the status of Nigeria around the world that took place right here in Lagos. One of them being the Homecoming, which is an international gathering in Lagos exploring cultural and creative exchange through music and fashion, all while bridging the gap between modern African culture and global cultural leaders to create awareness about local creative movements happening right here in Nigeria. Joining me today on the show today to discuss the importance of using arts and culture to promote Nigeria is Grace Ladoja, manager to arguably one of the biggest acts in the UK right now, Skepta. She also played a pivotal role in organising the Homecoming event. We'll also be joined by PR executive Ronke Bamisedun, who also played a major role in organising the Homecoming event. But before then, we'll be taking a look at news stories making headlines across the globe. And both our in-house analysts, Nena and Yuko, and Doyin Adio will be here to fill us in on stories trending around the world. And you're in luck, as we'll be taking you behind the scenes from our recent Arise Fashion Week. All this and more on The Morning Show. Welcome back to the morning show here on Arise News. Time now to take a look at stories making headlines across the globe. So first up, we have Nigeria's President Muhammadu Buhari has formally announced he will seek re-election in 2019. Buhari made the announcement on Monday at the National Executive Committee meeting of the party holding in Abuja. This was confirmed in a tweet by his special assistant on new media, Bashir Ahmed. Also, Kaduna State Governor and strong supporter of President Buhari's government, Nasir El-Rufai, also tweeted this development. Well, next up, Marvel's Black Panther is now the third highest grossing movie ever at the US box office, surpassing Titanic, which debuted in 1997. It seems like there is no slowing down for this film. Black Panther is still posting strong numbers in the cinema with $8.4 million on its 8th weekend. The film has totaled over $665 million stateside, enough to pass Titanic's $659.4 million. As of now, Star Wars: The Force Awakens and Avatar lead with $936.7 million and $760.5 million respectively. Global ticket sales are at $1.3 billion, pushing it to the number 10, edging out Frozen, which grossed $1.27 billion worldwide. Wow, that's a lot of money. Well, Facebook has found two other companies had improper access to millions of users ahead of CEO Mark Zuckerberg's appearance before US lawmakers. The social media giant is suspending another data analytics company, CubeU, for what is said that was unauthorized use of user data. Officials say they believe CubeU sold data it collected for non-profit academic research to marketers. On Friday, Facebook moved to suspend another firm, Canadian political strategy company, IQ amid allegations of links with Cambridge Analytica. Zuckerberg will testify in the Senate Tuesday and in the House on Wednesday. He will be quizzed about the company's ongoing data privacy scandal involving Cambridge Analytica. He is also expected to be asked about Russia's use of social media during the 2016 US election. Let's take a look.
I found him forthright and willing to want to turn things around where he sees that mistakes have been made. We talked about the future and just how this platform, indeed social media, can be used to undermine our country's institutions. But particularly, I think the message I wanted to convey to him, that if we don't rein in the misuse of social media, none of us are going to have any privacy anymore. My sense is that he takes it seriously because he knows that there is going to be a hard look at regulation. If it's not his site, someone else can be misused for people who are trying to do us harm. And I believe he understands that regulation could be right around the corner. He said they were lied to by Cambridge Analytica. Well, you can't protect our privacy just on the basis of somebody telling you that they're going to protect it. So does that mean law? Yes. Does that mean regulation? Yeah.
Meanwhile, Apple co-founder Steve Wozniak says he isn't sure Facebook can fix its privacy issues, and he expects it will be decades before it changes its policies. Wozniak announced he's shutting down his Facebook account amid the worst privacy crisis the social media company has faced. He called Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg's failure to look after his users' privacy hypocritical.
Now, the people who are on Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg has almost total voting control. Okay, so one person sort of stands out, but he and his executives gave themselves a special privilege of being able to delete old posts. They didn't give it to you and me, like they're privileged, they're above us. No, you should act like all of your customers are equals. And this comes from a personality disorder, not a disorder, but a personality type. And personalities don't change. After the age of 23, you're going to keep doing the same things for the same reasons that you've always considered right in your life. So I don't think Facebook's going to change its policies, not for decades.
In the meantime, child advocates and consumer groups are asking the Federal Trade Commission to investigate and impose billions of dollars of penalties on YouTube parent company Google for allegedly violating children's online privacy and allowing ads to target them. The coalition argues and accuses YouTube of violating the law and deliberately profiting off luring children into what they call an ad-filled digital playground, where commercials for toys, theme parks, or sneakers can surface alongside kid-orientated videos.
The concern is that there's content on YouTube that targets young kids. So YouTube is ostensibly for users over 13, but research has shown that more than 80% of kids 4 to 13 are on YouTube. And when they're on there, they're essentially being tracked. Their data, all sorts of personal identifiable information is tracked, which is used for marketing and advertising, which is in violation of COPPA, which is the Children's Online Privacy Protection Act. And parents aren't aware that this is happening. So they've essentially been profiting on kids on their site. And that
London's Victoria and Albert Museum will return artifacts taken from Ethiopia after 150 years under one condition: a long-term loan. In 2007, the East African country filed a claim asking the UK to return ancient artifacts and manuscripts taken in 1868 after the overthrow of Magdala. According to BBC Africa, the items seized include a gold crown and royal wedding dress, captured from the captain and mountain capital of Emperor Theodore II formerly known as Abyssinia. The Ethiopian government's claims were denied. However, the director Tristram Hunt offered to provide the items through a temporarily loan. In a Guardian report, Hunt stated that the ownership of cultural property is a complex one and that there is no one strategy that can be applied to returning the items. Well, now it is time for a break, but when we return, we will have our in-house analysts, Nena and Hugo, and Doyin Adio joining us for a review on what's trending around the world of entertainment. Stay with us. Hugo, and also Doyin Adio with stories trending around the world. Hi, Nena. Hi, Doyin. How are you guys this morning?
Good.
Fantastic. Well,
I'm awake.
You're awake. Fantastic. Well, that's great. Well, we love our What's Trending segment. So tell us, who's starting first?
I'll go ahead and get
All
to
right.
it.
What's trending?
According to a report by TMZ, Trey Songz's recent domestic violence case has been rejected by the Los Angeles District Attorney. A spokesperson for the District Attorney's office has confirmed that the case has been transferred to LA City's Attorney's office, who will then determine whether or not they will charge him with a lesser crime, such as a domestic violence misdemeanor. So it's not all over for Trey, who claims that he's being lied on and falsely accused by the alleged victim. The victim, Andrea Buena, claims that Songz assaulted her when he saw her talking to another man at a party in Hollywood Hills. She also went to say, as a result of the beating, she vomited from a concussion. Songz's lawyer, Sean Hawley, spoke to the LAPD and gave them various statements from the witness that debunked Buena's remarks. Buena's lawyer, Lisa Bloom, told People, "Celebrities too often get a pass in our legal system. We will press on for justice in the criminal court and in the family law court where our domestic abuse case is filed."
So this is a serious incident.
So it's very serious.
Yeah, but because of the nature of the person being accused, people are very one-sided. I've seen on social media. I mean, we're still all alleged, but people are very much, no, not my Trey Songz.
Exactly.
He's my boo. He would never do that. But how are we really sure that he did or didn't do this? I think it's important to just leave it up to the justice system. Lisa Bloom, by the way, she's always got the most. She solves
interesting cases.
Yeah, interesting cases. That's a good word. Interesting.
I hope. I guess this gives celebrities an opportunity to see that, hey, again, even if you're a celebrity or not, like, you will be, taken to court and prosecuted accordingly, you know, as the justice system.
Yeah, you'll definitely be held accountable.
He has been taken to court back in Detroit. He was on stage and he was rehearsing, and they told him to finish his set, and he went all crazy, started throwing punches, throwing his equipment, and he also injured a police sergeant, and they pressed charges.
I wonder if they'll bring it up.
Yeah.
Do you think he might be taking drugs or something that's,
I don't know.
I don't know.
Trey, I'm not really a Trey Songz fan. So
You might get attacked by
So
Trey
yeah, I don't
Songz.
want to be attacked because I don't know what kind of stan he has. He might have a whole group of groupies.
Well, we'll see more about that story.
Well, security has been increased around the suburban Philadelphia courthouse where Bill Cosby is standing trial on sexual assault charges. The team supporting the American actor had called for security to protect him after a topless protester with Women's Lives Matter written on her body jumped a barricade and got within a feet of the 80-year-old comedian. The unidentified woman ran in front of Cosby as he walked into suburban Philadelphia courthouse for the start of his sexual assault retrial. She was intercepted by the sheriff's deputies and led away in handcuffs. Prosecutors have lined up on a parade of accusers to make the case that the man reversed as America's dad lived a double life as one of Hollywood's biggest predators. Cosby has said the sexual contact was consensual, but faces 3 counts of aggravated indecent assault, each punishable by up to 10 years in prison.
This is a statement that the judge gave to the jurors. The purpose of jury selection is to provide both the defendant and the Commonwealth with a competent, fair, impartial, and unprejudiced jury. A jury composed of individuals who do not have a fixed opinion about the outcome of this case before hearing the evidence. A jury that will decide this case based solely upon the evidence introduced in this courtroom. A jury that will follow the instructions and the law that is to be applied. A jury that would decide this case without reference to bias, prejudice, or sympathy. Jurors that would be fair and impartial.
This is all really sad. This whole case is really sad because we all grew up watching Bill Cosby on The Cosby Show.
Yeah.
And it's just sad to hear that, as they say, allegedly he did live a double life. And these are women that obviously they trusted him, you know. It's Bill Cosby, he's like your granddad.
I know, but I think that, like, again, this shows that, you know, even though you're a celebrity, you're not above the law.
Yeah.
You know, you see people like Stevie Weinstein, Harvey Weinstein coming out, and like this whole allegations against Bill Cosby. I'm sure people have known in the industry for some time, but it just caught up to him now. So
you will be held accountable even if you are
You can't
a
live a double
celebrity.
life and get away with it. It's
Yeah.
always going to come out.
Definitely. Well, we'll see how this trial ends. We'll
Yes.
keep you posted
right,
on
I'm
it.
sure it'll be all over social media anyway. So Nigerian author Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie has been named as one of the 3 people who will receive an honorary degrees from Baldwin College on May 26th in the United States. She has been named a MacArthur Genius Grant recipient alongside chemist and Nobel laureate Thomas R. Ketch, a former diplomat and government official Susan E. Rice, a Rhodes Scholar. Baldwin College is a private liberal arts college and has been rated as one of the top liberal arts schools in 2017. She just keeps winning.
Yeah.
Like,
And, no, she's definitely making us proud.
Yeah.
definitely.
And I'm so excited. That's what we're really talking about today on the show, where Nigerians outside of Nigeria actually, you know, flying the Nigerian flag and then also coming home as well and representing Nigeria. So you see that Chimamanda's always wearing a Nigerian fashion label.
Yeah. I've never actually seen her in like Western clothes. I was actually looking at that comment yesterday. Like, she always wears like African-inspired clothes.
I think she makes it a point to do that anytime
Yeah.
she's out because, again, you have to represent where you're from. You
Yeah.
know, you gotta get people interested in what's going on here. I think those are key ways to do that.
Definitely. And this is another achievement for Chimamanda. So just one of many more to come.
Yes.
Yeah.
Of course. A roll call of female stars appeared in Drake's latest video, Nice for What, an ode to female empowerment. Olivia Wilde, Tiffany Haddish, Zoe Saldana, and Michelle Rodriguez are among the stars in the film. Missy Copeland, the first Black woman principal dancer with American Ballet Theatre, also features. Nice for What was directed by Karina Evans. The 22-year-old Canadian was also behind the emotional video for God's Plan, in which 31-year-old Drake gave away $1 million in Miami.
Don't we just love Drake?
He knows how to. He knows how to do it. Like, you know, everybody's like, oh, I love Tiffany. You know, all your favorites are there. Issa Rae, Tracee Ellis Ross. Like, he gets it. And then commemorating Black women. Who was it? I was speaking to someone. They're like, you know, it's good that you don't see like, you know, somebody like, you know, shaking their butt in a video, and you can see.
We always appreciate a break from the butt shaking.
It makes it like easier to watch the video.
Yeah, and there's just much more. It's also good for hardworking girls, you know, to actually emphasize that it is important to actually stand for something as opposed to booty shaking. Because Tiffany Haddish has accomplished a lot, and the ballet lady as well, Misty Copeland, she's amazing. She's like one of the first really black females to actually go into ballet and be successful in it. So yeah, kudos to Drake. And
he's a real role model now.
He is a role model. He is a role model. And next time, can you come over to Nigeria and share some of that God's Plan money?
Nice.
His second video should really be shot in a country in Africa.
It should.
Yeah. Well, thanks guys for coming on the show. It is time now for a short break on the morning show. When we return, we have more for you from our recently concluded Arise Fashion Week. Stay with us. Welcome back to the morning show here on Arise News. Designers from all over the world gathered at Arise Fashion Week last week to showcase their best work yet. South African duo Quateria and George were a part of that lineup. Let's take a look at their latest collection. Amazing pieces there. Our very own Toyosi had the chance to sit down with the dynamic South African duo to chat about the inspiration behind their collection and desire to become a global brand. Let's take a look.
And we are still at Arise Fashion Week 2018, and I'm joined now by South African beauties, Kiteria. I got that right?
Yeah.
And George, welcome to Lagos, I should be saying.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Kiteria, how's your experience been?
It is quite an experience. I mean, obviously you grow up and you know about Arise, and you guys went away for a while.
Yeah.
And I think it was such a great honor and opportunity to be invited by Arise team and to come and join the panel of I think designers, from around the world, and yeah, I think for me, I think it's just about the opportunity and just spreading our
Africanness.
and sharing it with the rest of the world.
Yeah, and how would you describe African fashion now?
I think African fashion for me is the freedom of being oneself. Africans we're so diverse in culture, in religion, and we have got so much to offer. The African continent has so much to offer, meaning the minerals that we have. The world take reference. For the longest time, the world has taken reference from Africa.
Yes.
The world has taken so much from Africa as well. So
Wakanda.
I think, so I think, and I believe that our generation needs to, rewrite history and be more confident in telling our own stories and owning what belongs to us, and not really feel, I think, ashamed about who we are.
Yeah. Okay, now let's talk about your brand, Kiteria and George. You've been together for almost 5 years now.
Yeah. No, I know him more than 5 years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think almost 10 years. 10 years.
Almost 10 years, but together you've had a fashion label for almost 5 years.
Almost.
How do partnerships like that even work? I can barely keep my friends around me for 6 months.
Sure.
I don't know that, yeah. But how do partnerships like that work?
We feed off each other, which works better for us. And
Right.
it's always good to be in a partnership like this. The dynamics are different, but he's my second eye, and I'm able to, check myself. You know what I mean? We don't agree on the most, in everything. There's a lot of disagreement before we even have a piece. And sometimes I'm passing, I don't like something, and I just like, how do I say I don't like it
Without hurting his feelings.
So
creatively, we agree with each other 98%
of the time.
Okay.
We pretty much like the same things.
All right, so how is the creative process? Because I know that you lend your voices to causes, like social causes. You have the Je t'aime Madame collection that that was for abused South African women. So how important is it for fashion houses to actually lend their voices to social causes?
Well, I think it's important. I mean, I think more than anything else, we're artists and we're activists, and we want to tell stories for those, and we want to be voices for those people who cannot speak for themselves.
Right.
And I think we're very fortunate that we have, and privileged at this present moment that we have these platforms to be able to voice out, our concerns. And I think it is important for every young black girl out there to know that they're beautiful, and for us as men, and to be good, examples to this woman. And I think if you have good role male models, I think the world can be a better.
Yeah, because it seems that a lot of people focus on the women, right? Nobody's really talking to the guys and telling them to be role models. George?
And it starts with the men. I mean, if you can't teach a man how to treat a woman, it is not going to work.
Exactly. So what else inspires your collections?
Well, we draw inspiration from different things. Like, I think half of the time, do we get inspired?
No, I wouldn't say we get inspired. I think we just go with it.
We just go with
Do
the
you
flow.
really? Because you have a collection after Black Swan.
Yeah, they're so different. Totally
That was
different.
Carol. Okay, let me talk about this current one.
Okay, talk about the current one.
Hosikati, which comes from one of 11 languages in South Africa.
Oh, okay.
Zonga. So
Zonga.
Zonga.
Zonga. Is that different from Osa? Yeah, that's different.
What of difference? So it basically means the queen. So we got inspired after our visit from Swaziland. We went there to visit the queen, one of the queens
Right.
of Swaziland, and we just felt like every woman deserves to feel like a queen in Gitaria and George. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think
we
just
draw a lot of inspiration from the incredible women that we met in our lives.
Right. That's amazing.
again, it's all about privilege. It's about being able to have such interactions and be able to draw that energy and then, you know, put it on a garment and then, you know, put it out there for every woman to relate.
Right. And now we have a lot of upcoming African designers, young. You are in your 5th year, not yet there, but in your 5th year. What are some mistakes you've made that you want others to learn from?
I wouldn't say mistakes, I would say challenges. You know, we don't make mistakes, I don't think we do. I think there's just challenges and obstacles that we go through, and as people, I think you better yourself from an obstacle and you don't let that deteriorate, you know, from being better.
Right.
I think just, you know, as an artist, just being able to balance the business part of it and the creative side of it, I think that's a big challenge. And I think if more, business people and more platforms like this, you know, that can back, you know, designers and African designers, and to show that we can also compete with the same luxury brands, international luxury brands, because we're luxury as well. If you can come to my, you know, I think, continent for gold,
you can come to
clearly that I'm luxury. You know what I mean? Because I'm the creator of luxury, so they come for luxury. I'm luxury.
That deserves a tweet. If you can come to my country for gold, you can come to my country for fashion.
Absolutely.
That's basically what you're saying. Amazing. It's been great talking to you, Gitaria and George.
Thank you.
And this is the Rise of Fashion Week 2018. Stay tuned.
Time now for a short break on the morning show. When we return, we have Grace Ladoja and Ronke Bamisedun on the show. Stay with us. Welcome back to the morning show here on Arise News. Joining me now on the show is British-born Nigerian Grace Ladoja, who through her work in the arts and music continues to push Nigeria to the world and recently received an MBE from the Queen of England for her services in music. We also have seasoned publicist and founder of boutique PR agency BWL Agency. Ronke Bamisedun has worked with a number of multinational companies such as Pandora, Moet Hennessy, as well as many non-government organizations looking to expand their footprint in Africa. Welcome to the morning show, Grace.
Thank you for having us.
No, it's a pleasure. We are so happy to have you on the show. You have an MBE. So hold up. Should I be calling you something else right now?
No, you shouldn't.
Are you sure?
This is fine. Actually, I haven't received it yet. I get it on the 18th of May.
Okay, but that happened in January.
Yeah, it got announced in January.
So, but how did that feel when you got? Was it a call? Was it a letter?
It was crazy because I was here in Lagos when it got announced. So I kind of knew that it was good. I was up for one, but I didn't think I'd get it, and it was amazing. It's just like incredible to like know that you worked really hard for something, and you know, if you think about what the honor is, it's for people that contribute something to the country they're from, and like I feel like I'm really honoured to have received that.
Yeah, no, and you're well known for being Skepta's manager, but as we said, you are very much involved in music, and that's one of the reasons why you're receiving this MBE. So how would you say music has evolved since you started in the industry and now, especially Nigerian music?
I think that a lot of things have changed in music. The whole blueprint has changed, and you know, music, if you think about all the biggest musicians that are making music now in the UK, they are mainly independent, and it's like ownership has changed, and now it's not for the record labels to dictate what the music taste of the people is going to be. It's the streets that does that. When you think about it, why I'm so excited about music here is that the sound of the streets is African music in London. In London, you've got J Hus, Young Bay, Notes, all these guys making music that sounds like it's from here. And that means that there's something incredible happening here.
Yeah, no, it's amazing. And Ronke, you work with brands. So obviously you've worked with brands who are interested in the music, in the diversity, in promoting African music. So how has it been working with multinational brands and also arts and culture?
I mean, Nigeria is, the landscape here is evolving, and the type of brands that we work with, i.e. a Pernod Ricard, for example, Jameson, it always connects back to music because music is so big here. So even if you look at the banks and the telcos, they tend to have a lot of sponsorship working with influencers in the music and arts. Because in Nigeria, for us, music and sports are the two main fields that people try and key into. So our job is to connect brands to the arts, to the music world, to form a perfect synergy. And that's what we saw with Homecoming as well.
Yes. Speaking of Homecoming, that was a perfect blend of music, fashion, and sports. So we had all the hot artists in the building. We had Skepta. We had so many people there, and we also had fashion at the it took place at AAF, that Homecoming event, and you had fashion as well. So we had our own orange culture. But then we also had Off-White. So it was a blend, right? But how were you able to come together as a collective and create such an amazing event from that fashion pop-up and also the Homecoming concert?
It was all done, well, obviously, like, the project was initiated by myself, Skepta, Greatness Dex. Have you met him?
No,
he's probably one of the most phenomenal people you'll ever meet.
Oh, amazing.
He's incredible. And he actually coined the phrase Homecoming. And we kind of like had a group message. We were talking about it. We came to Nigeria like 3 years ago and we did a show. It didn't go too well. So we were like, let's do something on our own terms. And we kind of were building towards that. And we kind of built our own like creative community here. We were part of something that was happening here. And it was from in the same way in London where it's like, it's really honest and authentic. All of our friends, all of the people around us were trying to do something and push something forward or make a change in the country. But it's really hard because of the hierarchy, about the way the structure of the country does not allow for youth, a voice for the youth. So it was really important to embrace it and come together. So when you think about the brands that we put together in the pop-up, that was about an exchange between global brands and local brands that have the same thinking, they have the same mindset, they have the same like essence. And that was really important to bring that together in one space because it was an exchange. Like the global brands helped elevate the awareness of the local brands, and the local brands were celebrated for what they've done, and it was amazing.
Yeah, you definitely achieved that blend. It was a great concert, as I said. And how was it promoting such an event? Because you know, usually we have the Echo Hotel events where it's tables, but these were standing seats, standing positions. You didn't have any seats, and you just if you saw the energy. I mean, if you were there, guys, I don't know how many of you were able to attend because it was packed and it was almost sold out at one point. How was it promoting such an event in Nigeria?
I mean, it's just like you will do anywhere else in the world. With that demographic and that audience, they do exist, but a lot of people were so overwhelmed by the mainstream culture, were so overwhelmed with gigs and live events happening at certain venues, you know, so there's always a need for somebody who just wants to do something different because you have that demographic who like, you know, not just the alternative, they like the UK music, they like American music, you know, but there's just not enough avenues for them to enjoy that. And that's what Homecoming did for them because, like Grace said, there was no hierarchy at the Homecoming. So there was no tables. Everybody was an equal, whether it was the artist or the consumer. Everybody could come and have a really, really good time. And that's what you saw, you know, Skepta was out there whiling out with everybody else. You know, the audience were there. They could see him. They could access him. So it wasn't one of those. They were attainable. You know, you could really have a good time with some of your favorite artists. You could wave to them. You can shake them. And that was just the beauty of it all. We loved it.
Yeah, no, we loved it. Trust me, we were all there here at Arise News. We had our producers there, and we were there till about what, 2, 3 a.m. And we didn't even know it was that late. That's because the energy and the vibe was so authentic. And I applaud you on creating such a cool vibe. But how do you think the government can also tap into this? Because you know we have a board for tourism in Lagos and things like that. How can they come on board your events and be a part of this community and this demographic? How can they really push forward?
Yes.
I mean, I think that the essence of it is for them not to. Like, it should be owned by us. Like, we've done this. Like, I'm talking about the collectively, us here, us from London, us here, everyone with the same mindset. It's not about them. It's about us. It's about us owning that. It's about us trying to like create a foundation about us supporting each other. If they want to do that, then there's room for it. But if they don't, then we're cool.
See, that's so interesting, because it's refreshing to hear that, because a lot of people do want to wait for the Nigerian government to come on board or sponsor or do something to enable them push forward. But you're saying that we already have our crew, we already have our idea and our plan, and that's the execution is really down to us. But if they do want to come on board,
that's why it was so good, because it feels really real. There's no governor that can pay for something so that his son could be on the lineup. So that you can't buy your way in. Like it's really about the sheer talent, about the vibe we want to create, about the exposure that we want to give people, about the exchange between the two different types of artists. So that's what the essence is.
Yeah, and the pop-up as well. Let's talk a bit about that. Now, that was a lot. That involved a lot of cultural exchange. As I said, with Off-White, we had Orange Culture, we had Woman of my TTYA was there with her T-shirts. So how was that also put together? And were you involved in it at all?
We kind of just used the people that we knew. Like everyone that was in that pop-up we knew personally, and they were all like friends or people that had said they wanted to do something with us, or they'd wanted to do something in Nigeria. So we kind of use that as a starting point, because that means that they're genuinely going to want to be part of this. So like, for instance, Off-White, when I met Virgil came to Nigeria like
Where was he?
2 or 3 years ago.
Pop-up.
And he was there for one day, and we had a discussion we all had a discussion that day, me, Skepta, Virgil, Dex. And it was just like a really amazing time to all be in Nigeria, because we'd just been in Paris like a week before. And we were like, whoa, we're in Africa together, this is amazing. And from that, he's been following up, and like he's done so much work in, you know, his own world for the community. So it was like a natural position to have Virgil as part of it. And he made a special product, which is really exciting, because people were really excited about it. So it's using that, and as well as Pata, they made this special product. They made all of these special pieces for this pop-up, and it was like, you only get that if people genuinely want to be there. The same with Grey did that, TTYA did that. All of the brands added something very unique to this experience, so we're so grateful.
Yeah, and people, it's great. And then, you know, people like Virgil, Off-White, it's a global brand. So how does this exclusiveness promote tourism here in Nigeria as well? How do you think we can feed off of that more?
Maybe you go.
Okay. It's amazing that all of these collaborations are happening, because, you know, it's putting a spotlight on the local talent that we have here. You know, the whole idea behind Homecoming is the fact that we get to tell the narrative.
Right.
You know, we get to tell the narrative, we get to tell it accurately, you know, we get to tell it through the lens of fashion, music, and art. You know, so the more people see Nigeria as a fashion destination, as a music destination, as, you know, the coolest city on earth, it's the more they would actually want to come out here. There's so much negative story about Nigeria and Lagos. So when people actually see, you know, the comments from Vogue, they're probably thinking, is this the same Lagos that we watch? So the more we can tell our own stories to show what we actually have here, you know, that it's more than, you know, the Wizkids and the D'banj. There's a society and the community that's so much more than that. Then we'll see people want to come here and experience it themselves.
Yes, and we also saw your feature in Vogue as well. So
Thanks,
that's
Vogue.
Vogue. But how important is that type of acknowledgement as well from such publications like Vogue?
I mean, it was a cultural exchange, you know, through music again, through art, and through the media. You know, the funny story is I actually wasn't supposed to be here. So when they reached out to me, I was supposed to be in Egypt, like kite surfing. So when they reached out to me and say, oh, you know, we're working on this project, I was just like, oh my God, it sounds so amazing. It's so chaotic. But I want to go, I want to go kite surfing, but I ended up staying. And the first night at the hotel, there were so many people from like different parts of the world, different accents, all ordering like jollof rice and plantain.
Right.
And I was working and I look up, look right. But it was amazing because media, the talent, you know, the influencers who had all come in really embraced Nigeria. So PR people from the UK were talking to PR people here. The international artists were talking to the local artists. It was like a real homecoming. It wasn't just the Nigerian Londoners, so to say. It was also for like all the international media. So when you look at that Vogue piece, it was more than a press release. You know, there was nothing in my press release that went into that Vogue piece. It was based off of the experience of the journalist. You know, he came out here and he had such a good time. And that is the sort of media representation that we really want, people who come to Nigeria with an open heart, who want to see what Nigeria's got to offer, because only that can they actually dispersed the message accurately and fairly. And, you know, it was amazing. So thank you to Vogue, thank you to all the other guys. You know, we had Highsnobiety here, we had Dazed and Confused here, and even the local media, everyone did a good job in like making sure they helped us tell the story.
Wow. Do you know what? It's just thinking about everything you said. I just remembered that Arise Fashion Week went on at the same time as this. And a lot of people thought that this was a planned thing, but it was actually coincidental. So when you're talking about the people in the hotel lobbies, in the restaurants, ordering these types of food, it was really a collective, but it was accidental. And I think it really did push everything that we were all doing forward.
Absolutely. It was like amazing. Like Naomi really supported us. Like she was here for Arise Fashion Week. I think she was a great person to like show a world what Nigeria was like through her lens, and she did an amazing job.
She did do a great job. And so what can we expect from Homecoming, the next installation? Is it going to be, how many concerts are we going to have? We're going to take over the whole weekend again?
We're going to do, a lot of things are going to happen. We're going to do a bigger execution of what we did, but also we're going to start building a kind of like hub, so that, because a lot of it is about charity, give back. And we need to find the space to really give it back to the right people. So that's kind of what we're working on, and like some educational stuff, like exchanges.
Sounds fantastic. Well, we're going on a short break here on the morning show, but do stay tuned. When we come back, we'll have more with Ronke and Grace. Welcome back to the morning show here on Arise News. Where all my social media influencers, where are you guys? You guys need to be careful with what you guys are discussing on social media platforms, because the US Department of Homeland Security is seeking contractors to compile a searchable database of media influencers that will allow the agency to keep up with what's going on in the world of social media and traditional news sources, according to the ABA Journal. Well, what do you guys think about this? So what this sounds like is really that they're going to be prying into the lives of your lives on social media, because we're, in effect, all of us are social media influencers. And I feel like this is really going to have a toll on when we're trying to cross borders. What do you think, Ronke?
I mean, I have two questions. If they'll be able to track this show, for starters, so I know what to say. But I guess that this is where, like, you know, the freedom, freedom of expression, freedom of speech all comes in. At what point can you actually really have an open dialogue? You know, social media is where a lot of people go to air what they feel about topical news or otherwise celebrity news. So I think what this is doing is putting a constraint, because now people have to be careful what they say about the government, for example. They have to be careful, because if I want to go to New York, I better not have anything negative to say about anything. So it limits, or not, it limits what you can actually say. So it's very murky waters. I don't know that this is necessary. I don't see the point of it. But again, we're now living in a society where the government wants to restrict. They want to be kept in the loop. They want to know what you're saying about what. You know, it's almost under security, but I beg to differ.
But it also shows the power of like people. So if you have to watch, you don't know the power that people have now. So they have to be really cautious of, like, you know, like not everyone that is got a voice is necessarily in a position. So like someone could have a bigger voice online, and that could really change things. But I love that.
Well, we'll see how it unfolds. But speaking of social media, how can our viewers find both of you on?
I'm hidden.
I know your handle.
I'm joking. So at bwragency.com. So everything that's work related, you can go on there.
Okay, she's not going to give us her personal ID. Grace, where can we find you?
At Grace Ladoja.
Okay, fantastic. Easy. Yes, it is. Well, that brings us to the end of the morning show. Thank you all for watching, and thank you guys for coming on the show. From the entire morning show team here in Lagos, all that's left to say is enjoy the rest of your morning and, of course, the rest of your day. Goodbye.